Okay guys, so in this video we're going to cover the blood vessels above the diaphragm. That's going to include the arteries and the veins. So just as a point of reference, here is your diaphragm. That's going to separate the thoracic cavity from the abdominal cavity. So I've cut it back, okay, because that's going to separate the two cavities. So we're going to start with the heart. The first thing you need to be able to identify are your coronary arteries and veins. And you can see right here that you only see the red dye because sometimes the dye that they inject in the cats doesn't make it all the way through to the different areas. So you can clearly see the red, which is the coronary arteries. You cannot see the blue, which is the coronary veins, but just know that they're located in the heart. We're going to start off with the main artery headed away from the heart, which would be the aorta. So you can see the ascending part that's coming up, the aortic arch, which curves, and then you see it descending down here, and it's going to go all the way until it pierces the diaphragm. Okay? There are two main branches coming off of the aortic arch, beginning with the first one, and it is the bigger of the two branches. This is the brachiocephalic trunk. We only have one of those in the artery, so there is no pair to this one. The second branch is the left subclavian artery. Okay? We're going to come back to that one in a minute. Okay? Off of the brachiocephalic trunk, we're actually going to have three breaks. Now remember, when we use the term trunk, that usually means it's not going to be very long, and we're going to have branches right away. The first two branches that you see here are for your common carotid arteries. It's going to be the left and the right common carotid, and you can see that they travel up the side of the neck, and they're going to end in the brain. The third branch, and it's not really a branch, it's almost like it continues on, that would be your right subclavian artery. Okay, so at this point, now we've matched up with both sides. So the naming is going to continue the same. So we're going to continue on this side. So we have the subclavian artery. Then we're going to move through what would be the clavicle right here that is removed. And now we're basically into the armpit of the cat, right? So this would be the left axillary artery. As soon as we move into the arm, follow the red dye. Okay, so that would be the left brachial artery. When it gets to about what would be the elbow of the cat, it's going to branch into the radial artery and the ulnar artery. Again, it's easy on the cat because they're going to be dyed either blue or red. When we're talking about the veins, right, they're going to follow the same pathway. So the branch that branches off to this side is going to be the left radial vein. The branch that branches off to that side would be the left ulnar vein, which would make this the brachial vein. As we move back into the armpit of the cat, that would be the axillary vein. Again, make sure not to forget your left and your right, so that would be your left axillary vein. We cross through what would be the clavicle, so this would be this left subclavian vein. And finally, we're going to meet right here where the Y is into this big blue vessel. This would be your brachiocephalic vein. So for the brachiocephalic veins, we do have a left and a right. That's different from the artery, so make sure you pay attention to that. Both of the brachiocephalic veins are going to empty into your superior vena cava. Okay. The partner to the superior vena cava would be underneath the heart, and that would be the inferior vena cava, which drains the blood from the bottom of the body. The last branch that I want to show you up here on the neck is this big branch coming up. This would be the jugular. And again, don't forget your left and the right. So this would be the left jugular vein draining into the where the axillary and the where the subclavian artery vein meets the subclavian vein. Okay. The last vein above the heart, okay, I'm gonna have to twist the cat a little bit so you can see it. It runs along the back spine back here. I don't know if you can see it right there, the blue one. Okay, that is your azygos vein. Okay, and this drains the intercostal veins. Let me show you on the other side. The intercostal veins and the intercostal arteries, they run along, right, the ribs, and you can actually see a little artery right here that's attaching to the descending aorta. Okay, so the intercostal arteries attach to the aorta, the intercostal veins attach to the azygos vein. Okay. And so these are the blood vessels above the diaphragm.